everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's dye time I want to try something that I have been curious about for a while. I've just rinsed out a hoodie I've washed, and this is the water that it has been sitting in, the dye runoff. Normally I just pour it down the drain, but there's a lot of colour and I'm very curious to see if it will actually bind to some yarn. I have here 100 grams of superwash merino yarn, and it is dry, so it's kind of just sitting up the top at the moment. But you can see there's an awful lot of colour in this at the moment, and I'm just curious to see if it will bind or not, because I've been told that the wastewater from dyeing plant-based fibres, it's exhausted and this won't dye anything now. But I have seen other videos of someone dyeing with fibre reactive dyes that have been sitting out for a while. So I don't know. I don't know if this will work. This is an experiment. If it doesn't work, you know, I can always do something else. That's why I like experimenting. This water is cold at the moment, but I have got the heat on. And because I've been dyeing with soda ash, I need to add a lot of vinegar to try and counterbalance the pH, to bring the pH to a level that will that the animal fibre needs, I'm hoping. So I didn't measure that, I just put in a massive glug of it. So I don't know, I'm going to let this come up to just below a boil. Ooh, you can see it's all fizzing with the soda ash mixing with the vinegar. This is all a big experiment, something I've really wanted to do for a while, and now I'm actually just doing it. I'm hoping this will bind, because this is a gorgeous colour. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'll have learnt something. I will probably have to add more vinegar into this, but for now I'm just going to let this come up to just below a boil, and I'll keep an eye on it. All the equipment I'm using today is dedicated for dyeing, and I don't use it for food. This is boiling now, and there is still an awful lot of colour left in here. I'm not worried at the moment. So if I pull this out, it doesn't look like the colour is actually draining off of the yarn. I'm hoping that there is some dye that has bound to the yarn. So I'm going to give it another glug of vinegar, and I'm just going to let this bubble away for a good 30-40 minutes, and then I'll come back and see if any of this yarn, if any of the dye has bound to the yarn. See if any of the dye has cleared. I don't know. I'll come back in about 30 to 40 minutes. I've been doing a lot of other projects today, and so this has been sitting on the heat for over an hour now, and the dye has changed from blue to purple. So I'm wondering if the blues have gone in here, that's a beautiful colour, and I'm wondering if I can now capture some of those purples. I don't know. So I've got here a skein of 100 grams of superwash Polworth yarn, and I'm just really curious now. You can see the watermark was there where the blue is, and now it's gone down quite a bit. That is a gorgeous purple. I really don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to stick to the yarn and then bleed when I wash it. But that's a beautiful purple. So again, I'm going to leave this on the heat for probably at least another 30 minutes to give this yarn a chance to have dye set to it. And I'll see where I am in about 30 minutes, but I still don't know what's going to happen when it comes to washing these at the end. But I'm enjoying this experiment, it's a lot of fun. This has been sitting on the heat for another half an hour, and you can see just how low that watermark is getting now. You can see that blue stain where it was originally, and it just keeps getting lower and lower. This purple is turning very pink now. It's interesting how fibre reactive dyes work like that. that is a gorgeous, gorgeous colour on the Polworth. And that is just darker and darker. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to exhaust these. Fibre Reactive dyes do work slightly differently. I'm not worried. I'm just now going to turn the heat off, let this cool down so I can wash it. This yarn has completely cooled down now. It's actually been sitting out in the shed for probably close to a week now, just because I haven't had a chance to do any washing. There's a lot of blue coming out. I wring this out. The water was clear, but now it's looking very blue. I'm just going to give these a wash out in cold soapy water. This is just, yeah, there's a lot of blue coming out of this now. Interesting. I don't think additional heat will help that to set. Yeah, you can see that blue is just pouring out. That is, I wasn't necessarily expecting this. Interesting. Fortunately, this is all superwash yarn, so I don't mind giving it a good squeeze, trying to get out all that blue. That's interesting. Well, I didn't really know what was going to happen, and I've never seen something like this happen before, where just one colour just pours out like this. If anyone can tell me the reason why this is happening, I'd love to know. I think what I'm going to do now is, I think this might need to soak in some just plain tap water for a little bit. There is less colour coming out, I think. It certainly looks a bit lighter, I think, yeah. So what I'm going to do is just going to let this soak in some plain, I'm going to get some clean water, just added a little bit of washing up liquid, and I'm going to let this soak for probably about 5 minutes or so, and then I'll come back. We'll see what it looks like then. These have been sitting in the soapy water for about 10 minutes. And still there's a fair amount of blue coming out. Not quite like it was. And I think this one certainly seems to be lightening up, becoming a bit more blue. This one, the colour seems to be staying the same. See, the water is starting to turn a bit more purple now, I think. Yeah, it's looking a bit more purple. Oh well, I'm going to just stand here and keep rinsing these. Hopefully I'll be able to get the water to run clear. This has been soaking for about 4 hours now. I have changed the water every a couple of times, and it's looking pretty good to me. I think there's still a hint of blue left in there, but compared to the colour that was coming out, I'm really, really happy with this. So now I'm just going to hang this, squeeze it out, and then hang it out to dry. And here is the finished yarn. Now I did let this soak for a little bit longer after I finished the filming, and there was still a little bit of a purple tinge to the water. So I let it soak for a bit longer, and the purple tinge didn't get worse, but it didn't really get better either. So after a while I left it, and I think this will be no different than washing a commercially dyed bright red t-shirt or jeans or something. You know there's going to be a little bit of runoff colour, but I doubt that that colour would really be enough to dye any white clothes. So that's my little asterisk for this one. If you do end up buying these, just be aware that there was still a tiny bit of purple coming out when I washed these, but it really wasn't anything for me to worry about. Now, if we have a look at the yarns, the Superwash Merino that I dyed first, look at that colour. That is a really, really solid colour. Having a little look at my swatch cards that I make, these seem to be the two blues that this one is closest to. Now, there is no Intense Iris in this at all. Intense Iris is looking very purple on the screen. It is a purple, but it looks more blue in person. And then if you have a look at the purple violet, that is it's quite similar, and there is blue violet in this. There's also Mermaid's Dream and a couple of other colours I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But this is actually really quite solid. If you go through it, I haven't really noticed any variation in the colour. It's there will be some variation, slight variations, because that's just the nature of hand-dyed yarns. But for hand-dyed yarn, it's pretty solid, and I really love that colour. Now, if we have a little look at the Superwash Polworth yarn that I put in later on to try and catch some of those purples, this is a bit more patchy. You can see there's a bluer section there. Most of it is quite purple, but there are some little bluer sections around. I'd probably call this a semi-solid or a tonal. I'm not sure. But still, this is a gorgeous colour as well. I find it really, really interesting that it was the blues that bound first and then the purples. I'm curious to see if I mixed all these colours together and dyed something straight away rather than it being runoff, if this sort of thing would happen. If you'd like me to do that, let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed making it. What do you think of this technique? Let me know down in the comments. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this every single time I do tie-dye, but if the colour runoff from my tie-dye is something that I really like, I may be tempted to give this technique another go. I publish a new video every Monday, usually around 6 PM UK time, and I do like to do different things in my videos, so there should always be something different and interesting to watch. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching.